What's up, Woodpack fam? Welcome back to our channel. Today's video is going to be a little different, and if you're new to our channel, my name is Leslie. I have a 2-year-old with my husband Juan Manuel, and our baby's name is Axxel. So if you have never seen us, welcome. I wanted to sit down and talk about my breastfeeding journey with Axxel because let me tell you, it was a journey. And I did breastfeed him for 30 months. He recently just stopped breastfeeding about, I want to say, a month and a half ago. Yeah, because when I found out I was pregnant, he was still breastfeeding, and I didn't know if it was okay for him to breastfeed. And so I was like, should I wean him out? Should I wean him off the boob, or should I just continue, you know? But yeah, so pretty much this video is going to be about me talking about my breastfeeding journey when we left the hospital from day one, or actually from the hospital, because he just started breastfeeding at the hospital. And I do want to talk about all the changes in my body after, you know, I gave birth and I started breastfeeding him. If I liked it, if I didn't like it, would I do it again now that I'm pregnant? And I also want to talk about how I weaned Axxel, weaned him out of my breast. Hopefully this video helps moms out there that are currently breastfeeding, that want to breastfeed their newborn baby, because I wish when I had started to breastfeed, I wish I would have known more or been aware. So I hope this video helps anyone out there who has one person. I'll be happy, and this video will serve a purpose. So I want to start from the very beginning, basically when I gave birth and when we were at the hospital. With that said, we did decide to do the traditional way. We decided to get an OBGYN. We gave birth at a hospital. We did all that, and everything seemed perfect. Everything seemed okay. We did have some complications with his birth, but I might do a separate video about me giving birth to Axxel and everything that went down. If you guys do want to see that, let me know in the comments down below. But basically, when I gave birth to him, I already knew I wanted to start breastfeeding. I already knew that I didn't really want to give him formula, just because we had decided, my husband and I, that we wanted him to be vegan. My husband had converted to veganism a little bit before, I think when I was 6 months pregnant, he had became a vegan, and I wasn't a vegan throughout my pregnancy. I became a vegan right when I gave birth, I want to say. Yeah, when I gave birth to Axxel, that's when I decided, okay, I'm gonna be a vegan. So if you guys see me drinking water, I'm sorry. I need to stay hydrated, and my throat is getting dry. Anyways, when I gave birth to Axxel, that's when I decided, okay, I'm gonna be vegan. So I knew that I wanted to breastfeed from day one. And so when we were at the hospital, Axxel latched on really good. I never had a problem with him latching on. He was a really good baby. He loved it from day one, and I was really excited. I did give birth to Axxel June 28th at 7-Eleven, and we were asked if we wanted to leave the following day. Usually, I know you have to stay at the hospital after giving birth if you have a natural vaginal birth for at least 2 nights. But we were asked if we wanted to go home the next day, and I was like, yes, please. I want my bed. I want to feel comfortable with my baby. I'm not a big fan of hospitals, so I was excited that they asked us. And so they were trying to get everything ready for us to leave the next day. And so I was told by my OBGYN before giving birth that I needed to get the MMRV shot before leaving the hospital, and also I also needed to get another dose of the MMRV shot on my 6-week postpartum checkup. And so I was like, okay, you know, I was like, okay, she told me I needed the MMRV shot, I'm gonna get the MMRV shot. And so I did get it right before leaving the hospital. I also got another vaccine. I don't remember what it was called. I might put the name here if I remember when I'm editing this video, but or my husband's editing this video. But I did get 2 vaccines, and the minute I stepped out of the hospital, like everything changed. I got out of the hospital right after I got the vaccine, and you know, usually when you give birth, you do feel a little bit like swollen sometimes, but you do, like, you know, you give birth, you already lose some weight, some water weight and stuff like that when you're giving birth, the placenta, all of that. And so I felt like something was wrong as soon as we left the hospital, just because I started getting super swollen. My feet were getting super swollen, my legs, my hands, my face, I was getting swollen. And I was like, okay, like this is weird, but okay, you know, like I never given birth, like I don't know what I'm supposed to feel like after. And when we get in the car and we're driving home, I start developing like a rash all over my body as soon as we left the hospital, as soon as we're going home. And I'm like, I start getting itchy. At first I didn't pay mind to, like, you know, why am I itchy, but I started getting itchy, and it was like during the summer, so I'm like, maybe this heat is making me like itch. But no, I started looking at my legs because that's where it started, and I was developing like a rash. And I'll enter pictures here because I do have some pictures, that way you guys can kind of see and visualize. But I was getting a rash all over my legs. It started on my legs, my thighs, all of that, and then it went onto my arms really quick. It just escalated all over my body except my face. So that was day 1 of me getting the rash. As soon as we get home, I wanted to shower, and like the water hitting me was like a nightmare because my body was just burning up. I just felt like my body was burning up. I was scared because I was breastfeeding Axxel, and I had developed the rash all over my breast, and like I was confused. I was like, what's going on? Taking a shower was a nightmare. I started crying because I was so confused. And by that time, like by the time I was going to get in the shower and, you know, rinse myself and stuff like that, my rash was turning into actual like blisters, like with water inside. Like one of them popped, I think, in the shower, and it was like the worst pain of my life. And I was so scared, and I was like, okay, what the heck is going on? I never in a million years thought it was because of a vaccine. I don't know what I thought, but Juan started doing his research and all of that, and it was really late, and he wanted me to go into the office so I can see my OBGYN and she can explain to me like what's going on. And so I waited that whole night. I didn't go to the ER because I never thought like it was something major. Like I just thought like, I don't know, like I'm just getting this rash. Maybe it's because it's hot, I don't know. But I couldn't even walk because I was so swollen. Like it was just like a nightmare. And so the next day, we're driving up to the office, to my OBGYN's office, to see if I can see her because we keep calling and calling and no answer. And so we finally get a hold of someone, and they tell us that my OBGYN is not in and that she's out on vacation, and they tell us to go to the urgent care. And my husband's like, I'm not taking her to the urgent care. Like, I want to see her OBGYN or someone from your office. This reaction might be from the MMRV shot that the OBGYN told my wife to get. I want to talk to someone in your office. And so they have a nurse on site that they made an appointment with, so I can go ahead and see her. And I think the nurse, she was looking over the notes before we arrived, and she calls me and she's like, honey, like, don't come in, I cannot see you, you have to go to the ER right now. Go to the ER, you need to get checked. it's an emergency. And so I freak out, my husband freaks out, and yeah, we go to the ER, right? And I'm so thirsty. So we go to the ER, we get there, thank God they took us in right away. I could barely walk, and so they sit me in this chair, and the doctor comes and he looks at me. He's like confused and kind of like freaked out, and he's like, well, what happened? Like, what did you eat? And I'm like honestly, like I have hardly ate anything. I just gave birth. I was given the MMRV shot. As soon as I stepped out of the hospital, like this developed onto my body, and I don't know what's going on. And so he looks at the nurse that's there helping him, and he's like, get the IV into this young lady. And they put the IV on me, and they just start putting in allergy medication after allergy medication. Like, they drugged me up. I don't even know what they put in my system. Sorry, I completely like knocked out. I was laid down, and we were there for about 2 hours, and then we got released, and they told me that I had to take allergy medication for the next week or so, like week or 2 weeks. And so allergy medication actually dries up your milk supply. And so obviously I couldn't breastfeed Axxel for that whole entire week, and I also had to wait, I think it was like 3 or 4 days after that, so it can fully like get released from my body. And he wasn't taking any of that medication, and you know, and so I was still pumping while I was drinking the medication on demand, so that my breast can, like, you know, think that the baby's breastfeeding. And I was actually developing a lot of milk supply during that time, and I was so sad because Axxel couldn't take it. And so we had gotten Axxel on formula because he had to eat, obviously, and he hated it. Like, he would cry and cry and cry, like he didn't want to take it. And it was really hard because I really wanted to breastfeed him. And like 2 weeks went by, I was finally able to breastfeed him, and my milk supply was gone, completely gone, no drops, completely gone. Hold on. And so my milk supply was gone, and I didn't know what to do. Like, Axxel was crying, he wanted to be latched onto me, so I just latched him on, and I let him like pretty much like suck out of my breast, even though I didn't have milk, because my mom and my mother-in-law told me, like, just latch him on and slowly you'll get your milk supply back. It's like breastfeed, it's like pumping, and nothing is like falling, but like the boob will know, your breast will know that it's on demand, you know. And so that's what I did. I would just latch him on, and it was like a comfort for him. Even though he wasn't consuming any milk, he would calm down. And so I would just have him day and night on my breast. It was so tiring, I couldn't sleep. It was like a nightmare because my poor baby wasn't really drinking the formula, and like he was just on my breast hoping to get a drop of my milk, you know. And so I did research, Juan did research, and we ordered moringa from Amazon. It's actually like this herb, it's like a plant, and we ordered it in powder form, and I would just sprinkle that all over my shakes, blend it. I would put it in my water, I would put it in salads, all my food. It's nasty, I will admit, it's disgusting, but I was doing anything for me to get my milk supply back. And I also started drinking coconut milk. I'm not a big fan of coconut water. I'm not a big fan of coconut water, but I do love coconut. But Juan started buying me the actual coconuts because he read it's better for you to consume the water from the actual coconut. And so he would buy me the ones from Costco, and get, like, when we could, like, find good coconuts, we would get the coconuts. And I was just chugging coconut water, drinking a lot of water, and the moringa. And we were also making oatmeal cookies, I think, or we would buy some oatmeal cookies if we couldn't bake some. But that's what I consumed, and had Axxel on my breast on demand. Now, it was a couple days later, after me just keeping him on there and him just sucking and sucking, when we realized that that was bad, because we were going somewhere and we put him down on the car seat and Juan was buckling him, putting on his seatbelt. When he spit up, he would spit up a lot. He was getting like, he was always a baby that's like would spit up a lot, and then he got really chunky, and I was told because he was chunky he would spit up. So anyways, he was spitting up and he was spitting up blood, and Juan and I freaked out. We were like, why is my baby like throwing up blood, you know? And we did our research. We did our research before taking him into the hospital or anything like that. We always did our research before taking him in to any appointment, to any doctor. Like, we always did our research. And so we did our research and we read that it can be because he was, you know, sucking blood out of my breast. And so I got super scared. I didn't want to breastfeed anymore. Like, my baby is throwing up blood, you know, like, that's scary. And so I told Juan, like, I don't want to breastfeed him anymore. I was in a lot of pain. I would put on the nipple cream. It wouldn't help me. Like, it was a pain that I cannot describe. I think it was worse than labor, because he would just suck and suck and suck, and like, there was nothing in me. And like, it was probably because like he was sucking blood out of me. It was hurting so much, I don't know. And then my nipples were super sore, and it was just, it was a lot. I would say it was a lot, but I didn't want to give up. I had hope that I would get milk supply back, and I had hope that even if it wasn't a lot, I wanted him to take that milk, and I wanted to have that bond like while breastfeeding. And I think that's why I breastfed for 30 months, was because I went through so much at the beginning. Like, it was so hard for me to like have him like you know, for me to decide I want him to stop, because I don't know, like, it was just hard for me. And when that happened, when he was bleeding, I told Juan like I think I want to stop. And Juan's like, well, why don't you just pump? Like, just pump and pump and pump. And so that's what I started doing for about a week, because I was so scared to have him like on my boob, and then him taking my blood and him spitting up blood, you know. And so I did that for about a week, and I started getting like milk back. And so I latched him back on, and I left the pump, because I started getting milk back. I'm like, he's not gonna consume my blood. It hurts. Anyways, so I put him back on my breast, and he eventually helped me get my milk back by just on-demand breastfeeding. I didn't get my milk supply back 100% to the point where he can just breastfeed and he would be full, he would be fine. I still had to give him formula. We did soy milk, and we also didn't want to do soy milk. We were just not comfortable doing formula, but you know, my baby had to be fed. And so we did soy milk. He would take about, like, during the day, about maybe 2 or 3 bottles, and then the rest would be breast milk, and then at night it would be another 2 or 3 bottles, and the rest would be like breast milk. And he did that all the way up to like he was like 1. And then when he started eating more solids and stuff like that, he started leaving the bottle. He would strictly just breastfeed during naps, and you know, at night he would just breastfeed and not really take the bottle. And then we took away the soy milk, and we actually found Oatly milk, which is made out of oat milk. When he was like 1.5 or 2, we started giving him more of the Oatly milk, and sometimes he would take that instead of like breastfeeding, but most of the time he would want to breastfeed, because around that time he was starting to bite me. He was starting to bite me really, really hard, and I was thinking of having him stop. But I started applying my nipple cream, and it was helping me a lot, and I was able to get rid of he would actually make me bleed. Like, I had cuts because he, like, one time he almost like teared my nipple apart. It was really bad. And so yeah, I had him drink more oatmeal milk, and I would just give him breast milk during his naps or at night, not really like more on demand, because he was bigger, he didn't really need it anymore. And so we did that, and I think all the way until he was like 2. At 2 I was gonna try to get him to stop, and he still didn't want to, and I was just like, oh my god, like my baby, you know. And he still didn't want to, so I wasn't really trying hard, but I started applying like charcoal, or like, you know, things that he would think like, why is your nipple black, you know, I don't want to take that. But he actually takes charcoal, like we give him charcoal with water like here and there for him to like not get sick from his stomach. And so he knows what charcoal tastes like, and to him it doesn't faze him. So he was like, nah, charcoal, come here mom, you know. And so he still kept on breastfeeding, and so I didn't decide to have him stop and was like hard on him until I found out I was pregnant, because 1, I wasn't sure if I can still breastfeed, and then 2, I kind of wanted a break from breastfeeding, because I do plan on breastfeeding our next baby, I do plan on breastfeeding, so I wanted that break. So also he can kind of like mature, because I feel like ever since, you know, he kind of stopped breastfeeding, he has been a little bit more mature. He hasn't been so attached to me like when we leave. Now he is really attached to me, like more than ever, just because I'm pregnant. But like we took a trip to Vegas, and the first time that we went before this last time, he cried the whole entire trip because he wanted his chi-chi. And so I had him leave the chi-chi before we went. Like he stopped breastfeeding, I think like a couple weeks before we went, and the trip was so much better. Like he did not cry, and it was just like, oh my god, like he's a new kid. And so I did go to my midwife, and she did tell me that it was okay for me to continue to breastfeed as long as like I wasn't bleeding and stuff like that. But I decided not to, just because I just feel like it's time for him to, you know, to stop breastfeeding. I think he had a good run, 30 months, I think it's good. But yeah, that's pretty much my breastfeeding journey. It was so hard, I'm not gonna lie. Breastfeeding is so hard. Like being a first-time mom is already hard, because you don't know what to expect. You don't know anything about parenting, you know. And when things like this happen to you, it's like, whoa, nobody told me, nobody prepared me for this, you know. But I feel like God throws certain situations at you because he wants you to learn from them, and he wants something to change. And so that happening to me going through that completely changed our lifestyle, completely changed the way, like our dieting, completely changed the, like what we give Axxel, completely changed a lot of things as us being parents. I just wanted to share this story with you guys, because I know there's a lot of moms out there that, you know, want to breastfeed and they have a hard journey. And I just want to let you know that you're not alone. I want to let you know that I had a hard journey when I was breastfeeding, but I decided not to give up. And if you're a mom that wants to breastfeed and you're having a hard time, I just want to let you know, if you really want to do it, I believe in you, and I know that you can do it. If I was able to do it, I know you can. And you know, if it's not possible, like, don't beat yourself over it. Like, if it's not possible, it's okay. As long as your baby is fed, that's what matters. But I do want to let you know that you can do it, that there's things out there that will help you if you lose your milk supply. Like what I use moringa, coconut water, natural water. Like, natural water is the best thing that you can take for you to create a lot, or, you know, develop a lot of milk supply. Drink a lot of water, hydrate yourself, you know, do like oatmeal cookies, consume a lot of oatmeal in the morning or at night for your snack. There's a lot of things that you can take out there that will help you with creating milk supply or trying to get more milk supply for your baby. Also, pumping on demand or having your baby like on your boob on demand also helps a lot. Also, talk to people that know, talk to people that can help you, and don't be afraid. Like, don't be afraid to reach out to anyone, or don't be afraid to reach out to me. I'm always willing to help anyone or talk to anyone about this. Whatever helps you and your family, go with that. Go with that, and as long as you're happy, everyone around you should be happy, you know? But yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and cut the video here because I've been talking a lot. My throat is hurting, but yeah, that is my story on breastfeeding. If you guys have any questions, reach out to me, comment them down below, and I'll be happy to answer them regarding breastfeeding or anything else. Just let me know. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope any mom out there that is currently trying to breastfeed or is going to be a new mom, I hope you at least try the experience, because let me tell you, it's a beautiful thing. And if it doesn't work, it's okay, you at least tried. But I hope this video helps anyone out there, and if you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a like. Go ahead and comment down below what other videos you guys want to see from me and my family. I hope you guys are enjoying this night, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, this is weird. Boop, 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 boop. Ah. Is that how you say it? I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna be 4 months, and I already feel like